So about 6 hours ago, my spidey senses tingled, and I decided to check up on the known locations of where this video happens to have leaked and exist online. And I noticed that two of them have been hit with copyright strikes. So I assume this happened within the past 10 hours, probably just before I checked. I just had a feeling and I looked, and sure enough, look at this, we've got video unavailable. This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Creative Assembly. And then the one on BitChute that I referenced. BitChute video blocked. The video is blocked under the following community guideline, copyright. So those were the raw uploads where the video existed in its entirety, unedited, untransformed, and CA are sending goons around to take these down with copyright strikes. And I then, an hour ago, got an email that tells me, copyright takedown request received for your YouTube video. Hello, we received the copyright infringement notification below regarding your video. Because for some reason they decided to just file two takedown notices at the same time, even though the other one has nothing to do with me, so I can see the results of that takedown in addition to this one. So that was a really oafish thing to do. We believe your content is protected by fair use, fair dealing, or a similar exception to copyright protection. We are writing to let you know we do not plan to remove your videos at this time. You have control over the availability of videos on your channel, including the ability to delete them if you choose. And then it links to my video. And then it says, please be advised it's possible the copyright owner will approach you directly to request removal or take other action. This email is not intended as legal advice. If you're interested in more information regarding your options in this matter, you may wish to consult a qualified attorney. Please note the complainant's physical address and phone number have been redacted from the copyright infringement notification below. And that is just the part from YouTube that tells me what's happened, just summarises the whole situation. So before I get into the body of the email, I'll just summarise that header there from YouTube, because this is the only correspondence related to this that I've had from YouTube, and it's conclusive to end it. And what it says basically is that this whole thing that CA are doing here is so bad, unfounded, that YouTube is willing to forfeit, to waive its safe harbour status. Google that if you have to, and actively side with me in dismissing this complaint. That's what this is telling me, basically, just at a glance. As soon as I opened this, I knew that was what I was dealing with, and I laughed before I even read anything else, without even giving me any work to do. I applaud YouTube. This is great. Well done, YouTube. You really have to give credit where it's due. I'll just say I've never had this happen before. Usually this can go back and forth a little bit, but the fact that YouTube is basically just emailing me to tell me, watch out, someone's fucking with you and doesn't know what they're doing, is hilarious. Small family company, £100 million annual turnover, CA under 4 billion market cap, holding company Sega, at it again. Small family company, guys. Alright, I'll get into it now. Copyright infringement notification confirmation. This is what YouTube sent to the person that filed this against me. Thank you for submitting a copyright takedown request. Your request will be reviewed to make sure it's valid and include all required elements. In your request, you have asked that we remove the videos and prevent any copies from being uploaded in the future. We'll reply to this email when we've taken action on your request. To check the status of your takedown request, go to the Removal Request tab in YouTube Studio's copyright page. From here, you can also turn off the Prevent Copies feature. This is the feature that makes best efforts to prevent copies of the videos you asked us to remove from being re-uploaded to YouTube. So what's happened here is Creative Assembly have noticed the leak and ploughed ahead quite unthinkingly, and implicit in doing this is an attestation to the veracity of the leak. So they've failed to get my video taken down, and they've taken action that confirms that it's legit, so it's backfiring. And in doing so, they uploaded a copy of the video, the original, and have started using YouTube's tools to find any copies of it that exist on YouTube, and have started taking them down. Because remember, I've been dealing with copyright on YouTube for the past 12 years, and I've never lost anything that I've done when it comes to copyright. I've been dealing with this non-stop for years. Doesn't mean it isn't stressful. And you definitely don't want to have a butthurt company or a really butthurt person misusing these tools, so it can be stressful. If you don't know the law, you might be intimidated into backing down. Or if it's ambiguous, you might end up in a game of chicken with someone with more money than you. So it can be stressful. I think what's happened here is the person filing this has tried to give me a copyright strike. I think that's happened. And that is a threat. If you, for example, have YouTube as a source of income, your livelihood depends on it, and you have a company or a person that's butthurt trying to copyright strike your videos, they are trying to damage your channel. They're actually going after you to fuck your life up. And fuck your life up they would have if they don't check the option manually that says give them a grace period to delete the video manually so they don't get a copyright strike. For some reason, I doubt they would have extended that courtesy to me if this complaint was upheld by YouTube. For some reason. But let's proceed. Here's the information you gave us. Copyright owner, name, Creative Assembly. Full legal name, provided. Your title or job position, employee of the company who owns the copyright. Username, content creators. So they have a channel called this. The fact that they've used the YouTube channel content creators to submit this complaint indicates to me that either they don't expect it to get anywhere or they expect there to be consequences from filing this because it might be frivolous. I'm just saying. The fact that they're using a completely anonymous content creators channel and not the Total War channel or the official Creative Assembly channel makes me think that they're not standing behind this at all. This complaint is frivolous and they might even expect there to be bad consequences from it failing. I'm just saying, that's what this looks like. This is a shit show. Email address, and then it has the Creative Assembly email. URL of the allegedly infringing video to be removed, and then it links to... This is the one where someone just uploaded it raw after downloading it off BitChute, which is where I found it. And then here is my one. And it's still up. Yep. So we're going to leave that open. So describe the work allegedly infringed, other, and then the title there is the title of the YouTube video. They haven't even retitled it to remove the file container type. Type of copyrighted work, internal pitch video. Additional information, this video was created by blah 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 for internal Creative Assembly use. We have the full distribution and copyright rights. Where does the content appear? Entire video. And that's wrong. It doesn't appear in my entire video. That is a false statement and a copyright notice. Completely false, because if you click through my video here, you can see that for the entire first 3.5 minutes, I have a form on the screen, so it's not the entire video. It starts much later than that. So 3.5 minutes in, we're still not there, and then we have another minute. So it's almost 4.5 minutes into the video before I start to use anything from my source. So that is a false statement and a copyright takedown request. Yeah, it's a copyright takedown request, so that would have given me a strike, and they are submitting false information in this. So where does it appear? Entire video? Alright, so the first 4.5 minutes it doesn't appear for a single second, so that's a lie. And it has to be a lie because if you click on the video, you see immediately that it opens with this. Either you haven't done even the most basic of due diligence, or you're just lying. Either way, that's really, really bad. You can't do that when you're submitting legal takedown notices on YouTube. Like you really have to do better than that. That's not a mistake I would ever be able to make. I would never make that mistake. I already deserve an apology just for this, because this is false information being submitted at my expense in legal action that's been taken against me. This, if it's been done knowingly, is perjury, which is illegal. Creative Assembly are potentially perjuring themselves here by doing this. If YouTube upholds this complaint, my video goes down, I get a strike on my channel, I lose money, I am damaged, and it would all be on the basis of falsehoods, which were submitted either through negligence or through malice. So I would have grounds for taking that further. When YouTube gives you these tools to use, you, by using them, have to check a box that concedes that you are using them under penalty of perjury, and it looks to me like they're perjuring themselves. when you see stuff like this, you start to understand exactly what someone was talking about all along. So that's 4.5 minutes, alright? 4.5 minutes. It starts at, let's find the exact second. Alright, 4 minutes 26 seconds is when it starts. And then it goes through until... It goes through until 23:25. So from 4 minutes until 23. So that's 19 minutes of a 30-minute video. So it's only 2/3 of the video in the middle. So it's not the entire video. So that's really bad already. I think that might have even gotten this tossed just on that basis, because they're submitting incorrect information. Clearly. Country where copyright applies, GB, I in good faith state that I'm the owner or an agent authorised to act on behalf of the owner of an exclusive right that is allegedly infringed. I have a good faith belief that the use of the material in the manner complained of is not authorised by the copyright owner, its agent, or the law, and this notification is accurate. Well, we've clearly seen that it's not accurate. I acknowledge that there may be adverse legal consequences for making false or bad faith allegations of copyright infringement by using this process. It could be both here, because there's false, confirmed, and it might be bad faith. If they're just submitting without checking, not even doing the basic checking of the information they're submitting, and then they sign it with their name and the YouTube team. Alright, so here is the results of this. Hi content creators, thanks for your removal request. We've removed some of the videos in your notification, however, we need to submit more information from you before we can proceed with removing the remaining videos. Please read the entire email carefully for a complete update of each video's status. We're concerned that your copyright notification may not be valid for the videos listed below. Please keep in mind that in many countries it's legal to use copyrighted works in specific ways without the owner's authorization, particularly for transformative purposes such as news reporting, parody, commentary or review. Well, I am covering news. In fact, this is such big news that I have a document full of articles that this has caused, especially the initial leaks. This is absolutely news. This is relevant. This is clearly in the public interest. Look at all of these articles. I've got all of them covered here. GameSpot, Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, Escapist, Kotaku, Video Games Chronicle, Tech Radar, Kit Guru, Game Developer. And then for this leak video, I've got Eurogamer, Game Developer, PSU, Gaming Ideology, and I've even got YouTubers covering this.
Und zum Abschluss widmen wir uns noch einmal Segas eingestelltem Shooter Hyenas. Die Lootballerei war Berichten des YouTubers Volund zufolge Segas am höchsten budgetiertes Spiel überhaupt.
So people are using what I'm submitting as a source consistently throughout this whole thing, and then here is the Eurogamer article that covers this leak. Hyenas developers share frustration at how Sega's biggest budget metaphorical turd was mishandled following leak of Neil Blomkamp's mood video. And they reference it and they link my video down at the bottom. Yep. So I absolutely am using this to report news. This is news. When something like this leaks, it's in public interest, it's in journalistic interest to cover this, to report on it. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Some countries protect such use under doctrines of fair use or fair dealing, while others allow for specific exceptions to copyright protection. Learn more about fair use in the United States. So here is YouTube basically schooling Creative Assembly on basic copyright law. If you still believe your copyright is infringed by the YouTube videos identified below, please explain in detail why you think so. We ask that you provide more detail than was included in your initial notice. Here are questions you may wish to consider. How much of your work is used? How is the market for your original work affected by this use? Does this use significantly transform your original work, or does it serve the same purpose? Does this use fall into an exception to copyright protection? Please note that we may share your response with uploaders. And that happened, of course. So how much of the work was used? All of it, and I talked about the whole thing, or at the very least most of it. How is the market for original work affected by this use? Zilch, the project was cancelled. They cancelled it themselves. Does this use significantly transform your original work? Absolutely it does. Because I was the first one to journalistically cover it and explain what I thought about it. That hadn't happened yet. Or does it serve the same purpose? Totally different purpose. Does this use fall into an exception to copyright protection? And of course, this does, under fair use, fair dealing, using it for commentary, journalistic purposes, news reporting, criticism, critique, public interest with potential misconduct, misbehaviour, negligence. I can go on and on. Honestly, the fact that this has been submitted and I'm sitting here dealing with this bullshit right now in the midst of the game being cancelled and a giant scandal is some of the dumbest bullshit I can think of. Like, what the fuck what the hell is this? Honestly, just imagine if this went to court. Your Honour, we want to defend our copyright on a mood video for a game that was utterly doomed, where we wasted $100 million. This is a game that will never even be finished, and where the employees were all treated like shit and hated working on it, and have all these horror stories about doing it, and our employees that were pissed off leaked it to the whole internet so they could get some fair treatment in the public eye, and a YouTuber covered it, and now we want to sue the YouTuber. Are you fucking kidding me? This is so fucking stupid. I can't even begin. And then it humorously says down here, you may take back your claim of copyright infringement at any time if you change your mind. And then we get to the response from the CA employee that filed this. So they say, hey, the mid video was taken from an unapproved source and was not distributed with our permission. Of course, but the same thing can be said of the Apache gunner footage from WikiLeaks of the Iraq War 2003. That definitely was taken from an unapproved source and was not distributed with permission. Just as an example, an immediate counter example to that. The author of the video is aware, by their own admission, that the video was not officially published. Yep, I'm aware of that, that's what leak means. And that was obvious from the thumbnail and from the title. You know, it's leaked, yeah, we got that. It's not been officially distributed and has been passed to them through illegal means. Well, I just got it off of BitChute. It's available for anyone to watch on BitChute, or it was until it was taken down. So it wasn't passed to me through illegal means. I just clicked on something on BitChute and watched it. It might have gotten onto BitChute through illegal means after an employee of the company leaked it. It was hosted on BitChute, and I just watched it on BitChute and recorded my screen while I was talking about it. Which anyone could have done, by the way. And judging from the fact that I'm getting an email here which includes details on the copyright takedown of videos that have absolutely nothing to do with me, by the way, that clearly happened. This has been leaked and it can't be unleaked. See, the more I read this, the more it seems like they're trying to prove something that has already just been assumed by all of us at the very start. It's a fucking leaked video, and I'm covering it. Like, no shit, it's leaked. It's obviously leaked. It even says that in the title and the thumbnail, and they're still trying to establish that it's leaked with this here. Like, I think YouTube got past the understanding that it's leaked and is stuck on the fair use thing. That was obvious if you just read it. If you just read what YouTube said to you and actually respond to it, you might get somewhere. This just reads like throwing weight around. Like, this is the person that's submitting this hiding behind their lawyers. Look at that. I can loop in Sega's legal team. They're just giving up, throwing up their hands, stuck on repeating that it's leaked, and then mentioning Sega's legal team as a power word. It's so pathetic. Just read what you're actually replying to, where it clearly describes a hitch that relates to fair use, and talk about fair use and why it isn't fair use. Unless it is fair use, in which case this is all just frivolous and I'm being harassed. Nobody has been given permission to show this private and confidential video, and the entire video is shown with minimal discussion throughout. Alright, let's check this, let's test this claim. The entire video is shown with minimal discussion throughout. So this is more of basic due diligence here. So as we discovered, it starts at 4:20, 4:25, 4:26, wasn't it? Yeah, 4:26, and it was like 23 minutes. 23 minutes. Yeah. And the video is what? 5 minutes 42? How does a 5 minute 40-second video last 19 minutes? Can you explain that? Person that submitted this, how do you get to that? Minimal discussion throughout. Alright, let's check this.
Building their rocket
and race. I'm talking that
from
I'm talking again.
In the 90s.
I'm talking again.
Which I'll admit is a
I'm talking again.
Athletic. And then there's
I'm talking
PUBG
again.
Mobile. My god,
I'm talking again.
looting these shelves and everything.
So pretty much every time I clicked through in the span of this, what is it? Alright, 4.5 up to 23:19. So I clicked through like 6 or 7 times in this 19-minute span, and every time I did, pretty much I was talking. In fact, just to drive this point home, I was getting comments from people complaining about how much I was pausing the video to talk. So it's quite clear from the comments alone, if they just looked at the comments, that I'm talking throughout the video non-stop, but they didn't even do that. Or they did and they're lying in a legal notice. And it says here, minimal discussion throughout. Again, it's just basic due diligence. YouTube is going to see this and just immediately reject this, and that's clearly what happened. In fact, this is so obviously wrong that I think AI could have been able to tell and filtered them. CA got filtered by bots, and I think it's one of the rare times where it's deserved, which is just embarrassing. This is either extreme negligence or outright perjury. This is just everything about this is bad faith, pretty much. This reeks of butthurt and harassing. That's what this seems like at this point. It seems like harassment. It's hard to interpret this as anything other than a company that's litigious and butthurt harassing me. I feel harassed. And to be perfectly honest, I expect an apology for this. This is so incompetent and negligent that someone should be fired for this, really. Like, someone should be fired for this. A head should roll. Cannot believe this. This is pretty much another crude hatchet job, except this time it isn't Redditors that it's designed to appeal to, it's the people that do cooperate on YouTube actually lying about me. So in response to that waffle there that is just debunked with cursory examination, hi content creators, thank you for your response. We've reviewed it and provided updates below. Request declined. We remain concerned that your removal request isn't valid for the videos listed below. As a result, the content will remain live on YouTube. Videos in question, and it links my video. And then it says down here, end of copy notice, and that's the end. Should I have to deal with this? Should I be dealing with this right now? Is this normal? Is this fair? I don't think it is. I think this is bullshit. I think Creative Assembly has a hell of a cheek to be doing this at the time they are. I want to know who was responsible for this decision to have this happen. Who actually signed off on this? Because I'm sure someone actually did it and someone told them to do it, and I want to know who told them to do this. Because I feel harassed. A reasonable person in my position would also feel alarmed, distressed, anxious, and far from escalation would expect a fucking apology, to be quite honest. As a bonus, an ex-Creative Assembly employee that got in touch with me a few days ago for the first time and was nice said the following. Essentially, games are often built on the goodwill of young enthusiastic men and women contributing huge amounts of unpaid overtime. Many of them get burnt out and leave the industry. Union representation would help with that. Good luck with the videos, be careful. CA can be litigious. Perfect timing from that one. And then there was another one that had something to say. I know for sure, though, CA will hunker down and wait until the storm blows over. Modus operandi for Creative Assembly PR is to go radio silent or to produce a boilerplate notification, much like they did with the price hike pitch from Rob. They will always see themselves as the ultimate truth and will never accept responsibility for their actions. And you can maybe see the Dunning-Kruger and the arrogance from how they just completely ignored what YouTube was saying and kept just saying the same thing over and over again, and were just generally incompetent. Also, the Sega legal team power word being dropped was fucking embarrassing, especially after YouTube told them to fuck off. Typical. But that's it for today. I'll give you updates as they come. Thanks everyone for watching and for the support. Thanks especially, I should say, to my patrons who make this even remotely worth it to deal with by doing what they can to help. See you next time, everyone. If you think what I do has value and you want to support it, then check my Patreon page out. I do my best to give out perks, which include monthly updates on what I've got planned and what I'm thinking about, my scheming. Special thanks to Matteo Olivetti, Nerdington Paints, SJ Mage, Bador Nasser, and Desync was here.